All right, so a lot of questions are going to get answered today. We have veteran investor Mark Owen, who has 100 units within Baltimore City. He's been doing this for over 18 years, easily a subject matter expert. He's going to be walking us through a house where he talks about some of the renovation and design decisions he makes, but he also just talks about generally just investing all over the city. All the questions that we have, like should we put blinds in our rental properties, what to do about renovations that maybe tenants could sue us for if we did these renovations or didn't do them. He goes over flooring, roofing, all kinds of things. So if you don't know, this is actually part 3 of a series where Mark Owen talks about this exact house. So if you're not following along 100%, I'll put the links in the video for the part 1 and 2. Though for the most part, we just skip around in this video to the parts where you really need to know. Where he's talking about information that would be good for you to hear. So you probably still could get everything you need. Also, I'm going to put times in the description below where you can just skip ahead to the subjects that you actually want to hear about. He did about 4 hours worth of content, so we definitely try to cut through and give you exactly what you need. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Using tenant placement, or if you just...
I've been doing most of my own, right. But I will use tenant placement. Tenant placement, people find tenants for you, screen them and show the units and all that stuff, and you typically pay them a month's rent. Sometimes they'll do it for a flat fee, like $1,000, but most of the time they want a month's rent. And if they can fill your unit 2 or 3 weeks faster without you having to run around and all that crap, then to me it's well worth the money.
Absolutely.
So you said, like, if you were brand new, get all contractors, like, it's going to be about $50K.
Could be, yeah.
And that's if you have contractors who are nice to you.
Yeah, and so you don't want to be all in this for $68,000, not in this new, because you're not going to have any equity at all.
Yeah.
If you're buying just for cash flow, you're going to cash flow good because the taxes are probably $700, $750 a year. But as far as like equity goes, like you're not going to get shit. You're going to do all this renovation, and you're going to be in it for what it's worth at the most. Yeah. So I wouldn't recommend anybody buying this right here unless you just like headaches.
Yeah. And
spending a lot of money.
What is this appraised for if it was like brand new, like in this area?
Maybe 60.
Oh, God.
Yeah. There was a house across the street that just sold recently last year for like $85,000. So let me put things into perspective, just so understand the market. I bought a house, 2558 Wilkins Avenue. That was let's go upstairs and talk back. 2558 Wilkins Avenue. Had a Section 8 tenant. I think I bought it for $35,000. It was rented out for, I don't know, maybe $900 a month, something like that, $850, $900. So the numbers are really good. And I probably spent, the whole time she lived in there, I think I had that house for like 3 years. I had one turnover, and during that turnover I probably put like $3,000 or $4,000 in it. And then I sold the house for $85,000. So I paid like, I don't know, get a bit of profit off that. I can't even do the math off the top of my head. Maybe $40,000 profit off that house on the hood. That was $85,000. It was mostly a grandma house. Like I didn't redo the plumbing, and electric, HVAC. I put like a new floor to kitchen, painted the house, appliances, and that was like basically I probably put a new floor in the bathroom. I don't remember it. It wasn't much at all. And I sold it for $85,000. That was around 2006, 2007. And that house today in that condition would be worth like 25. So when people say, "Oh, the market's getting crazy," yeah, you know what crazy is. That's nothing like it was back then. Are the prices creeping up? Yeah, but that's like the natural market cycle. The natural cycle is it goes up, it's down, up, down. It went like this, boom. Where I was selling shells in Bel Air Edison for $70,000. Now you're lucky if you can get 40. So things have changed a lot. It still isn't like it was, and I'm glad because it's at the rate it was going, you wouldn't be able to buy anything that was worth a damn. This house would be worth $400,000 if it kept going like that, which is ridiculous because the rents wouldn't increase the same amount. So we're gonna go upstairs and look in a minute. Before we do that, I just wanted to see if anybody had more questions before we go upstairs and take a look. So, obviously we need new windows here. These mini blinds are like $4 at Home Depot. That's where I get all my mini blinds at.
You put blinds on the windows?
I do. Yeah, I do, because I don't want my tenants doing it. They don't have any tools, man. They're gonna,
Right,
they're
they're just
gonna,
gonna
like, yeah, this shit's gonna come in, it's gonna be like, you know,
Good
it's not
point.
gonna be even, it's like,
Good
yeah,
point.
no. They'll nail it right into the wood. It's like, no, I'll have my guys do it. So, and they're cheap, and it's easy. My guys will go through and knock out a whole house in an hour and a half. So, I wouldn't feel comfortable walking out on that porch right there till the demo's done, underneath of it and all that stuff. You don't wanna walk out there and you know, there's like rotted wood and you fall through and like break your legs or something like that. So that's something I would definitely be careful of. And probably what I would more than likely do with this house, I would drywall right over that door, right there. Insulate it, you know, take the door off, insulate it, put wood up, drywall over top of it. I don't think I want the tenants going out there hanging out on that porch. It's just like a safety issue waiting to happen. They got a 4-year-old kid, thinks he's a monkey, goes out there and starts climbing, falls off, and then the kid gets like really screwed up, and then you're gonna be the one that gets blamed. Even though it might not be your fault, you're still gonna get blamed for it. So it's got the same flooring up here. This wood is been around for a while. I would also more than likely drywall over that door right there. And this room does not have a closet. So I put closets in, and I'd probably put it right there. It's real easy to frame it. Like right here. Have a little door that opens right there. Put a pole going across. It's one of our incense things. They do that, man. It's amazing. So, see that floor's kind of sloped right here? It's probably not a big deal, but once we get this stuff up, we can get an idea. They sell this floor leveling stuff at Home Depot, but it's expensive, man. It's like $30 a bag, and it doesn't cover that much. And you pour it on top of it, and then it goes to the lowest point and dries and hardens, and then you get right over top of it. I wouldn't use something like that in here. So I probably, and what I do is typically I carpet from the steps up the whole second floor. I just put the cheap commercial grade carpet down. I'm not saying that's the best way to do it. The biggest pain in the ass with rentals is the floors. Because they're going to ruin it no matter what you do. You put carpet down, they're going to ruin it. You put hardwoods down, their dog's going to piss on it and stain it and ruin it. Or their cats. And that's one of the reasons why I like putting a floor down. But the floors are always the biggest pain in the ass. So, and there's no right or wrong way. It's just your own personal preference. For myself, like when I get out of bed in the morning, I would rather get out and step on carpet than step on hardwood floors. That's just me. I just figure most other people are probably similar. I watch those nails behind you there, Ace, on that wood.
But over the years, you realize that that's just the best case is to just do a low commercial grade.
That's what I do.
across
And
the-
sometimes it
across the
can
board.
last for many years.
Mm.
The problem that you have, that I've had, it's amazing, is like, you know, you should supply them with an ironing board too, because they iron their clothes on the carpet and they leave the iron sitting on the carpet and
Yes.
then they burn the damn carpet. It's like, you know, you can take it out of security deposit, but it's a pain in the ass. So, so that's it. So this one, drop ceiling's coming down. We don't know the condition of the plaster over top of it, but it's probably not good. There's a reason they put that drop ceiling up. And I get rid of the drop ceilings most of the time. Most of the time. In this a house like this where I'm gonna do this much renovation, I'm getting rid of it. Let's take a look at this middle bedroom. They got a closet.
Just a simple little bifolder.
Yep.
Actually, single.
Yeah, now put a door. Don't put bifolds in.
Break.
Ever. They come off the tracks, they break, all that shit. You're gonna be failing Section 8 inspections because their bifolds are coming off. I got bifolds in my house, I got rid of mine. I mean,
Yeah.
so,
Do that.
yeah, they're a pain in the ass.
Good point.
Sliders, same thing. So just go ahead and get like a 30-inch pre-hung door or 24-inch pre-hung door and put that in there. But I would move the closet into this room right here. I'd probably move this door down and then have the closet over here for this room right here. So all this space right here is devoted to closets. Half of it's for that room, half of it's for this room. That closet, door opens that way. This closet over here, the door opens this way. That's probably what I would do. So, so we got a lot of reconfiguration. I mean, I would have already left this house. Like, I wouldn't be buying this. We're just here just to go through what to look for. But as far as like reconfiguring the floor plan and all that stuff, that can be challenging for a lot of people. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Like, you know, I can walk in and I'm like, now I just not like, yes, bump that wall out a little bit, put the tub in that way. because I've done it enough times, so I'm just used to doing it. Is it the best way? I don't know. It works for me. And then what I would do is once I bumped that wall out, I'd put an access panel on this side for the diverter and all, and I'd run all the plumbing up. You know the difference between a right-handed and a left-handed tub? When you're looking at the bathtub, if the diverter is on the left side, it's a left-hand tub. If it's on the right side, it's a right-hand tub. So in that bathroom, put a right-hand tub, have all the plumbing running up. On that new wall we just built with an access panel, so it's real easy for a plumber to get in there. If they got to change the diverter or anything like that, it'd be real easy to do it. We're going to replumb the house anyway, so make it easy. You know, start thinking ahead and it'll be real easy. What else? The skylights are, I use Dave Wandell for my roofs, and he gives me really good prices, and he puts new skylights on and all that stuff. So that $2,000 price would probably include a new skylight in there. So a lot of times the skylights are covered over in these old houses. Back during World War II, they were afraid that our country was going to get bombed by like Germany or something like that. So what they did was they asked people to cover up their skylights. It's a target. You know, if you're flying around in a plane at nighttime looking to drop some bombs, like, man, there's a whole street full of houses. Let's drop them right here. Because if they're lit up, it's like, here you go. We're right here. So they covered them up so it'd be harder to find them. And back then, obviously in the 40s, they didn't have like the sophisticated GPS and stuff like that. They're like looking at maps and shit, like flying, like, hey, where's Wilkins Avenue, man? So, like they really want to bomb Wilkins Avenue, right? So it's like, it's a lot. So, yeah, see our plaster up here. Yeah, this house is going to have a lot of demo to it.
You just drywall every time.
I'd probably knock all that stuff down, because it's going to end up eventually falling down on top of your new drywall, so I'd get rid of it. That means you're also going to have to insulate it. When you insulate it, the ceilings, there's a company called Devere, which most of us use, and they just blow in the insulations real quick and easy. It's cheaper than your guys going to Home Depot and buying like a whole bunch of rolls and climbing around in the attic, unrolling and all that stuff. Just call them, and they have these hoses that they'll just blow all the insulation up in there. Just keep your receipt so, when you get your inspection, and they're like, well, did you get the insulation? It's like, yeah, here's a receipt. Devere came and did it. Most of the time, they're going to want to see it. They're going to want you to put a hole in the front and the back, and they're going to tell you where.
How do you
They're
spell
going
it?
to blow it up.
D-E-V?
Devere. And then the inspector's going to go up there and look around just to make sure it's in there. But it's good to keep the receipt handy just in case they want to see it. Here's something really interesting. Right behind you, Will, you see a piece of pipe coming out of the wall. Anybody want to take a guess on what that is?
My old gas line for the kitchen or something, right?
That's a gas line for a lantern.
No.
Yeah, before the electricity in these houses, they ran natural gas up, and there would be a lantern attached to that, so people could light the lantern to get light in their house at nighttime.
That's pretty cool.
So you got horsehair, you got gas lanterns, it's like interesting history.
For the installation thing, a house of this size, what would you budget that they would cost to do?
$700-800.
Does that include all the sides?
No, that's just for the ceilings. That's just for the ceilings. Yeah, for a house like this, you more than likely wouldn't have to insulate any of the walls or anything. The only walls you have to insulate are the exterior walls. Like you wouldn't have to insulate this one.
Right.
And for a house like this, once you pull this off, it's more than likely going to look like plaster that's already behind it. So it's already insulated. So if you laminate that, just go over top of it with drywall, you're not going to have to get any insulation. The only problem that could happen is if you remove all this wood and all, then there might be some big gaps in there, so you're going to want to buy some insulation just to stuff in those gaps. Even if the inspector doesn't say anything, you should probably still do it. It's not going to cost you that much to insulate around the windows. And part of the goal is you want your money, your tenants to spend less on BGE so they can pay you more in rent. If somebody's going to get their money, I'd rather pay me than BGE. What else? So in this room right here, in this little closet.
Nice architectural angle there.
Yeah. Sometimes what I do is I get rid of these things, actually, just so they got more space to like bring stuff in. Nobody's gonna put anything in this thing. It's gonna look like a hellhole. So it's interesting. There's like wallpaper in there, probably from like 1930.
What's in that closet?
Yeah. Yeah. So I would probably knock that thing out and store it. I'll just open it up a little bit more. This room needs a closet.
Well, you could just make that. You would just closet here.
Oh, then I gotta get in the room.
Or however you do.
Yeah, that's the hallway. That's the way to get into the room right there. So you have a couple of choices. I would drywall that. I'm not gonna have that door right there. And then you can just bring the closet right here. Closets are cheap, man. It's gonna be, 15 2x4s, which are like $3 a piece. You have $50 in wood, a few sheets of drywall, pre-hung door, $500 you get a closet. It's not a big deal. And people are gonna like come in here, man, there's no closets. Like, so it's just go ahead and spend the money, just get it done. Should be factored into your budget. So when I do these renovations, what I'm about to tell you is what I typically do, or what I used to typically do. Now I just factor a bigger number, like for this one, 45,000. If I'm a few thousand over, I'm gonna live with it. If it's a few thousand less, I'm probably not even gonna know it because I got so much other stuff going on. I'm just not gonna pay that much attention. But usually you can guesstimate your rehab cost just in increments of 5,000. It's gonna cost you 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Maybe once you get above 30, do it in $10,000 increments. But if you're just gonna come in and do kitchen cabinets and paint the house, 5,000, or not kitchen cabinets, like you need a fridge, stove, and paint, 5,000. You replace the kitchen cabinets, fridge, stove, paint, 10,000. You need to, put all new carpet in the whole house and flooring in the kitchen and the bathroom at another 5,000. You need new plumbing, electric, and it's going to be another 10,000. Well, I'd say 15,000 for that. So typically $5,000 increments, and always go with the higher. So if you're like, I think it's going to be 7, make it 10. Always go above, and then you can be pleasantly surprised at the end. Speed is also part of the name of the game with this thing, because if you're thinking, I see guys do this, and it's so damn short-sighted. Somebody will say, the guy that bought my house on Wilkins Avenue is out of business now. That house is boarded up. I think everything he owns is boarded up. Because he thought he was going to save money and do all the work himself. So, you could have spent $4,000 and had it done and rented out in a month, but you decided you could get it done for $2,000, so it took you 6 months because you worked a full-time job. Well, you lost 4 months rent doing the work yourself, so it actually cost you more, and you lost all your weekends for 6 months. It's like stupid. Pay other people to do it for the big stuff like that. In the beginning, if you're like, it's small, like I got other guys doing the work, and I'm going to come in and paint it or take shit to the dump, do it. But if you're thinking, okay, I'm going to renovate this house, and it takes an extra 6 months to do it, so you lose 6 months rent, you lose $7,000 in rent, and you save $4,000. You didn't save shit. You lost $3,000 and a whole lot of weekends. So you want to get these things done as fast as you can. If that means, all right, well, I can get it done a month faster, but it's going to cost me $1,500 to do that, you're going to get most of that back in the rent. And you're going to free up your schedule to go out and find the next deal or do something else, spend time with your family. So really you should take that kind of stuff into consideration when you're thinking about doing stuff yourself. Like, how much time am I actually really going to save, and how much rent am I going to lose when I do it myself, and how much stress am I going to have? Fetty Franny rules. For the smaller banks, the community banks, they're portfolio lenders, which means when they lend you money, they're keeping the note in-house. They're not selling it. And so the fact that they're keeping it in-house, they're not subject to the Fannie Freddie rules. So they have a lot more flexibility as far as having, I've got 2 houses on one note, I've got stuff in LLCs. I mean, it's just, you have a lot more flexibility. You might pay a little bit more in interest, but if it gives you the freedom to scale your business, then who cares? It's just the cost of doing business. Any other questions?
Any particular neighborhoods you would avoid?
If you're afraid to get out of the car, don't buy there. Seriously. I mean, like, because, you might have to go there sometimes. And if you, and it might not be you, maybe it's your spouse or something, would you be afraid for her to go up and knock on the front door? Because, one day you might be in a hospital, something can happen. So you want to, that's my rule right now.
Do you carry?
No, not legally. No, I don't carry anything, man. No, I don't. I have some friends that do, but I have some different thoughts on that. I'm a member of the NRA, but I think that when people carry, a lot of times they're more willing to put themselves in positions that they wouldn't if they weren't carrying.
Sure.
I would rather just say, oh, You think I'm an asshole? Well, have a nice day. I'd rather leave than be like, oh, you think I'm an asshole?
Yeah.
You know, because then people can get themselves in a position
It's a
where.
very good point. I was just crazy.
Yeah, so I would rather just avoid the confrontation, you know. And if somebody starts shooting at me, I'm not gonna like turn around and start shooting. I'm running, man. I'm running in a zigzag. I'm fucking out of here, man. It's just like an alligator's chasing you, running in a zigzag because they can't turn real fast. And these guys are like this anyway, you know. They're not even looking at you, man. They're like doing all this sideways shit, and so they're gonna hit like the 10-year-old kid playing in the street,
Right.
you know. I mean, that's what usually happens.
How do you check
They're
the
smaller.
roofs on townhouses like this?
I just assume that this one's gonna need a roof. Just assume it. It's a flat roof as opposed to shingle or slate.
And you assume it most of the time?
I just assume it
Which
in
is
my
based
numbers.
off of all the...
Yeah, the stains and
Stain.
the condition of everything else. And I doubt the guy like put a new roof on it recently. And it's again, if I say it needs 2,000 for roof and it doesn't, okay, I'm gonna probably run over 2,000 somewhere else anyway. So I just factor that in. If the guy says, yeah, just put a new roof on it, you know, 2 years ago, you're probably okay. What kind of roof? Oh, you know, tar. You know, it's like, well, you got to recoat that like every 4 years. So that doesn't count. So the rubber roofs are, you know, typically on a row house like this, 2,000, and then they silver coat them like, you know, 6 months or a year later, and they should last, you know, 20 years. So you don't have to worry about it.
What do you mean by silver coating?
Silver coating is it's like suntan lotion for a roof. It reflects away a lot of the harmful sun rays that will erode the rubber faster.
Yeah.
So
Crackles.
yeah, so it does the same thing. It kind of protects it. And
You ever been down like Fells Point or Canton? You're on the rooftop deck and you see some are black and some are silver.
yeah, the silver ones are, if it looks like white or silver, it's silver coated, more than likely. Sometimes they got this old stuff that unrolls, like carpet, and it's like the same material as shingles. And I can't remember the name of the material, but it's like the same thing. It's like 4 foot wide, and they can unroll that to put on roofs, and that's like old technology. Now listen, when I say 2,000, that's not including a tear off. That's assuming that they're going to go directly over top of the existing roof. If they have to tear off whatever roof is already there because there's too many layers and it's going to be too much weight, then that could all add another $1,500 to your cost. So I'm just assuming, like I make that assumption, 2,000. You can call a roofing guy and have them go up there and check it out, and usually they're not going to charge you anything for that. But if they do that and you need a roof, like use them. Like don't get some guy to come give you 3 free estimates and then never call, or get someone else to do it. And if they're going to take their time out of their day to come do that, then you should give them the business, or you're going to like really piss off a lot of roofers.
All right, and that is it for this video. Keep in mind that there are 2 other parts to this video. So Mark Owen is walking us through an entire house, and if you couldn't really get a grasp of, you know, where exactly we were located in the house, then that's probably because you need to watch the other videos as well. So we have one more video where he takes us into a new house, and I will post the rest of that in part 4 of this series. And until then, though, let me know any questions you will have, and I'll talk to you all really soon.